This is Mr. Lee, and I am here with the printed out version of Asteroids and Dinosaurs and the Flowchart. I've been getting a lot of questions and a lot of emails and texts wondering how to do this assignment. So people had a couple of questions, so I wanted to post a video. After I posted this video, if you have any questions, please make sure to get in touch with me, and I'll be more than happy to help you understand this. This will be the foundation for next week's assignments. So now, I'm going to go over here to the table, sit down, and show you guys how to do this assignment. Okay, we have our article and the flowchart. And what we're going to do is start with the article first. And what I wanted you to do, and there is a simpler version of the article, of the entire article, found in PDF form. If you look throughout the Understanding Science 101 website, you'll find that. So here's the article, and I start reading, and up here is mainly background information. And as you read down, you'll realize that the nature of science is what we want to concentrate on in this entire article. So talks about that science can test hypotheses about events that happened long ago. Ideas are tested, multiple lines of evidence. It relies on communication within a diverse scientific community, and the process of scientists is not a linear process. It is nonlinear, unpredictable, and is continuously ongoing, as we can see in the science flowchart. Now, let's go into our article. One of the key pieces of evidence supporting plate tectonic theory was the discovery of rocks on the seafloor record ancient reversals of the Earth's magnetic field. The Earth's magnetic field does change direction different periods of time. As rocks are formed where plates are moving away from one another, they record the current direction of the Earth's magnetic field, which flip-flops irregularly over very long periods of time. And we get down, we start to look. It says Walter Alvarez, an American geologist, and his collaborators were looking for independent verification. So they were looking for independent verification of the timing of these magnetic flip-flops in the sedimentary rocks of the Italian mountains. Now, there I would place a number 1. Okay. Around 65 million years ago, those sediments lay undisturbed at the bottom of the ocean and also recorded reversals of the magnetic field as sediments filtered down and were slowly compressed over time. As Alvarez clambered up and down the Apennines, collecting samples for magnetic analysis, right? So he was collecting samples for magnetic analysis. I would put a number 2. He regularly confronted a distinct sequence of rock layers marking the 65 million year old boundary between the Cretaceous and Tertiary, the KT boundary. Okay, so he regularly confronted this. That would be number 3. This boundary was made up of lower sedimentary. It goes into more ideas. It says, why the sudden reduction of marine fossils? What had caused this apparent extinction, which seemed to occur so suddenly in the fossil record? And was it related to the simultaneous extinction of dinosaurs on land? Alvarez was curious and recognized that answering such a difficult question would garner the respect and attention of the scientific community. Okay, so the camera flip, we have highlighted some areas. We put number 1, 2, 3, have a number 4, a number 5, and number 6. And I'm going to get you started with just these. So we go over to our science flowchart, and we look at our first number, number 1. It says that he were looking for independent verification of the timing of the magnetic flip-flops, my number 1. Well, he was making observations, and so I would place a number 1 on my flowchart. Let's zoom in just a little bit. Here we go. At making observations. He was also gathering data. Okay? So he was gathering data during this process. Okay? Our number 2 says collecting samples for magnetic analysis. All right, he was collecting samples, so he was making observations. If we come down, he was asking questions, and all of a sudden, he kept seeing a surprising observation. So with this one, I would probably say he was making observations. He was making observations. He comes over and it says he regularly confronted. So this was a surprising observation. It was a surprising observation. But as we go a little bit further, it says that he started to ask questions. So we had to go back and ask another question. That's our number 4. Okay? Our number 3 is going to be he made more observations after the surprising observation as he was collecting the samples for magnetic analysis. And then we go to our number 5, where he knew that this would give him some type of respect and attention of the scientific community. So that would be down here. This would be discussion with colleagues. He came down and discussed with colleagues. But he wasn't done there. He had to start asking the questions. So as he goes, he's going to actually go through more of this process over and over. All right. So what you see is we now have all of our numbers. So what we've noticed is Alvarez was making observations, collecting data. He found a surprising observation. He made more observations. He began to ask questions. He had to come down and discuss it with his colleagues. And it continues on from there. When you finish, everyone's flowchart should look just a little bit different. Everyone's going to see this from a different standpoint. Although Alvarez's research led to many other questions and many other opportunities to do lots of other experimentation and testing. Okay, so I hope this helped out. I do have the article. Here's my science flowchart. I'm going to keep on working on it so that when we get in class, you'll be able to see the finished result, and hopefully everyone will have theirs. We can have a great class discussion, and we're going to have a very activity-filled week, so please make sure you're present both days of class this week, and I will be posting the class assignment list tonight and over the rest of the weekend and by Monday morning. Hope everyone has a great weekend, and I will see you next week.